I'll cut to the chase. The Mummy, it's reopened. Ever since January 6th of 2022, it's been shut down and fans have been so upset and Universal has been so quiet about, what's even going on with this ride. But today, on August 30th, it is finally reopened, not officially, but it's doing soft openings for the general public. Even though it's not the grand reopening day officially, it is for me. So we're here, we're gonna ride the Mummy and see what changes have been made, because it's been a journey. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to bring my camera on the ride because, it's a big camera. I got to get a locker, which means that I'm going to have to use my phone to film inside, so it might not be that great. Sorry in advance. We want to do our best though. But yeah, without any further ado, let's go ahead and ride the ride. Let's go. He's still here. Let's go. The redesigned gift shop at the end of the Mummy, the Sahara Traders store, I actually really like it. It has a lot more of like a darker vibe than it did before. Now it definitely has like a HHN almost like dark monsters vibe, and as you can probably notice, it's themed a lot more towards the monsters and then instead of like specifically the Mummy. So there's a lot of Frankenstein, a lot of Creature from the Black Lagoon, a lot of Wolfman, a bunch of everything. A little bit of the Mummy, but it's not as focused on the Mummy as it used to be. But I think overall, especially for the brand that Universal's trying to push with the monsters, especially with Epic Universe coming and all that, really getting people aware of the branding of the monsters as a whole instead of just the Mummy might be a smart move, but that's definitely what they're doing here, for sure. Having just got off the ride, I have to say I'm very happy with this Reefer. If you're not as familiar with the ride as I am, a little bit of backstory for me. Back when I worked here, it was like a tradition. Every day that I clocked in, I rode this ride at least once. So I'm telling you, I have hundreds, literally hundreds of rides on this ride under my belt, and I love it. It's my favorite. Even though I've ridden this ride so many times, I'll never get tired of it. I love it so much. I could ride this ride all day and still come back the next day and ride it again. I love it. So with that being said, I know this ride forwards, backwards, like I can quote the whole thing to you right now. So I was able to really pick up on a lot of these small changes, small updates, but they are exactly that. They're small changes, small updates. If you're not super familiar with it, but you enjoy the ride, you've been on it before, and you want to see what's been changed, well, I'll tell you, you probably won't notice anything. It is the ride that opened back in 2004, and it's just that. Nothing's been changed, it's just been upgraded. So the projections are now in what looks like a crisp 4K. They look fantastic. A lot of the rendering has been changed and updated to be more modern and more technologically advanced. There's some really good projection mapping in there. The launch tunnel has a little bit of like fiber optics in there now. So that looks really, really, really good. But really it's just all the animatronic work. The animatronics are all running, the fire effects are all going. It's just got that TLC that the ride really needed, and now it has it, and it's running, I would say, just as good, if not better, than it did in 2004 when it first opened. I love this ride, and I'm so glad that they spent the time, effort, and money to get it to where it needs to be. Of course, the courtyard had some updates, like some refurbishment on the ground, so the entrance looks really good, and all the effects in the queue are working now too. So all of those little booby traps that we all know and love that are in the queue all work, and they look fantastic. But yes, for all of you who were worried And I was one of them that was worried that the ride was going to change completely, like they were going to get rid of all the references to the Brendan Fraser mummy and just make it more generic. That was a rumor that was going around. For all of those who were afraid of that, good news, they didn't do it. It is exactly the same, and at the end, Brendan Fraser still doesn't get his cup of coffee. So, you know, it is what it is. That guy just really, you know, he's uncaffeinated and he needs some caffeine. So I think now all that's left to do is to get a cup of coffee and celebrate him. Let's do it.